In this video, we're going to have a look at two different ways to install sample data into your SQL Server. Hello, I'm Philip Burton of idodata.com. So once you've installed SQL Server, either on premises or in the cloud using Microsoft Azure, you may want to have some sample data that you can explore, so you can create your own queries. Now, the standard sample database is called AdventureWorks. So you can see here, I've gone into Google and I've typed in AdventureWorks, all one word, and then database. Now, the location of the AdventureWorks sample databases keeps changing. So at the moment, here is the best way to actually find it. Just Google it. So if I click on this first link, which is to learn.microsoft.com, you can see here that we have got various links. Now you might be going, okay, which one should I install? Now you can see if you're not sure what you need, start with the OLTP version that matches your SQL Server version. So if you've downloaded the 2019 version, then you should download the AdventureWorks 2019.bag. If you've installed SQL Server 2022, then at the moment there is no specific 2022 version, but you're fine downloading the 2019 version. So what are these three different versions? Well, the OLTP, Online Transaction Processing Workload. So this is the standard SQL that you would use with SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. If you want to use a version which is more easy to use in SSAS, then you should have a look at the data warehouse. So SSAS is SQL Server Analysis Services. The lightweight version is a cut down version of the full OLTP. So if you're not sure what you want, go for the OLTP version. Now, I generally download the 2014 version simply because that's the one that I've been using for the longest amount of time. So I'll click on it, and here you can see it downloading. It's not a huge download, just 44 megabytes. So it is downloaded to my downloads folder. Now, I generally don't like to use files which are in the download folder. So I'm going to cut this. So click on it and press Ctrl and X to cut. And then I'm going to go into my Windows folder and I'm going to create a new folder, right and click and go to New Folder. And I generally make it really short. So a B in this case, for instance, and then right and click and paste or Ctrl and V. So now I know where it is. I can open up my SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, and I can now right and click on the databases in the Object Explorer on the left hand side. If you don't see the Object Explorer, then go to View Object Explorer. So right and click on Databases and go to Restore Database. So we get this rather complicated looking screen. Now the source, you might think it's a database, but it isn't. It's a device. In other words, it is stored on a hard drive. So I'll click on Device and then click on the ... to the right of Device. And I'm going to add a backup media. So click on Add. It's File. That's absolutely fine. If it was on the web, I would use URL, but I'm going to use File. Click Add and I'll navigate to my folder. So C:/B. And click on my AdventureWorks, regardless of which version you've downloaded, and click OK and OK. And now you can see it has filled in some details, and I click OK again, and it is now restored successfully, and there we can see it on the left-hand side. Now, if I expand the AdventureWorks 2014 node and expand tables, here we can see all of my data. So it's grouped into various schemas: human resources, person, production, purchasing, and sales. So if I wanted to start creating select statements, I can click on New Query at the top and then say select star from and drag in a table, for instance. And then when nothing has been highlighted, I'll just press execute to execute everything here. And there we can see the results. So this is how you can download and install sample data into your on-premises SQL Server. But what if you're using Microsoft Azure? So if I open up my internet browser again, I can go to portal.azure.com. So if I search at the top for Azure SQL, here we can see Azure SQL, click on that. I can create a new resource, so click create. And I want to create a single database, click create underneath that. And then once I've finished filling in all of the details, I can go to the additional settings tab, and in the data source, I can use existing data. I can use a backup of an existing database, or I can use sample database. And you can see that the database it's going to use is AdventureWorks LT, LT standing for lightweight. So it's going to modify a few things just to ensure backup compatibility. So click OK. And then I would go back through the tabs and make sure that everything is set up as you want. So it's even easier to use AdventureWorks LT in your Azure SQL database. You just need to go to the additional settings tab and in data source, click on sample. Now, if you wanted to use the non-lightweight version, so the OLTP or the data warehouse, then you should download it as normal. And then when your SQL database has been installed and you can access it using SSMS, then you can simply restore it just like we've done with an on-premises database. If you need any additional assistance on how to use SQL Server, then please go to our website, idodata.com. If you click on SQL, you will find all of our SQL courses, and we've got other courses as well there. If you are already experienced with using SQL, but you're going, what is Microsoft Azure? Then you might be interested in our DP300 course, which focuses on Microsoft Azure with respect to SQL. Full details are in the description to this video. In the next video that's coming up, I'll show you how to install an SQL database on Microsoft Azure. So if you'd like to see that, then please click that video on the ending screen. If you like this video, then please click the like, and why not subscribe and click that bell? That way you'll be notified of any new videos. I'm Philip Burton of idodata.com. Thank you very much for joining me, and keep learning.